So I really wanted to watch this video, not only because it has a lot of views, but because it seems really interesting. 8 worst places in the U.S. Now we kind of watched the video already about the states and like what state is best and worst at. But this actually seems like the like worst places, like, period. So I think I have some ideas, honestly, although I'm not like, oh, you know what? Let's just go ahead and watch it. And of course, this video is from Geography King. So go subscribe to him. He's the original creator. Okay. Oh, God damn it. There we go.
Howdy, it's Kyle talking about the
Howdy,
eight
man.
worst places in the U.S. And right off the bat, I want to say this isn't intended to be a funny video. I'm not here to make fun of these places or the people that live there, but just give a general overview of some of these really bad places. I'm going to first start talking about the worst urban ghettos. Not all urban ghettos are created equal, and I'm going to talk about the three.
So I guess like an urban ghetto is like, for example, in Mexico we have Mexico City, which has a lot of urban ghettos. I think like probably half the city is an urban ghetto, to be honest. In fact, it could be more. But I'm gonna guess like the biggest is like L.A., New York, Chicago, Detroit. Like all these places have like some like big urban ghettos. I don't know. That's my guess.
Worst ones. The largest one, the most dangerous one, and the poorest one. And they aren't all the same. So I'm going to start with the largest one, which is Detroit. Detroit has the single largest
Nice.
area of just continuous urban blight in the entire country. And so much of the
Wow.
city is empty, derelict. But the past couple of years has seen a little bit of improvement, but still, Detroit is truly
Wow,
awful.
how
and is
sad, dude! Like a candy store just empty. How bad is it? Like, I obviously heard about Detroit, um, and it always they make it seem like as if it were the worst place in the U.S. I mean, this looks pretty bad. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The houses are nice though. Like maybe it's not a problem about the like, I don't know. I mean, the houses look, yes, they look abandoned, but I mean, come on, like, if you like, this looks old, but it doesn't look ugly, you know. Like this one right here looks pretty new. Probably someone lives here. You know, could you imagine like living like right next to an empty candy store, dude? That must be creepy as hell. But anyways, if you know something about Detroit that maybe I'm missing, tell me. I want to know. Like Michigan seems like a great state, so it's just a shame.
the largest urban ghetto in the country. The most dangerous urban ghetto is Chicago, and the stats here are ridiculous. The south and west side of the city.
Okay, Chicago gun violence in 2012. Okay, wow, 9,000 shooting victims. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. And out of those, over 1,300 were dead. And murder victims less than 24 years of age. That's less than, right? Like, or over. I don't know. I have no idea. But it's still like each one is pretty insane.
Really bad. I probably wouldn't either, but it is mostly
Amen to
gang
that.
on gang violence. So if I were to drive through there, I probably wouldn't have any issues. But at the same time,
I mean,
still
that looks pretty bad. I don't know if like that is. God damn, this Corona thing is crazy. No, guys, I don't have Corona anymore. But look at that. That looks pretty bad. I mean, even like me as Mexican, that is pretty bad. Like, actually, really bad. I don't know if this is Chicago, though. Maybe it's just like a stock photo.
wouldn't be doing it. It's crazy. I don't know how it's gotten so much worse through the years, but it is such a huge area of
Plus,
just
Chicago is such a
violence.
nice place, dude.
It is the most
Like,
dangerous ghetto in the country, even though I guess you could say per capita the crime isn't as bad as, say, maybe
Plus,
St.
these are like Hispanic dudes, like Victor Felix, Jesus Martinez. Well, this, I don't know about this one, but it's still like, I don't know, dude.
Louis or other cities, but Chicago is so much
I
bigger
forgot the
than
junior.
St. Louis that the ghetto is just so much larger, and the overall amount of violence is incredible. But the difference between Chicago and Detroit is that not all of Chicago is like that. A lot of Chicago is very nice, very wealthy, and some really cool neighborhoods there. Most of Detroit's pretty
Haven't been to Chicago. I kind of want to go there, but yeah, I've heard that some parts are really like bad.
ghetto. There isn't much to Detroit that isn't nasty. Most of Chicago is at least okay. But
Nasty,
the parts
though,
of town
wow.
that are ghetto are really bad and really violent. And it's the most violent inner city in the country. But neither Detroit nor Chicago are the poorest ghetto in the country. That goes to New Orleans. And New Orleans' ghetto is more like a
Oh
third
wow.
world area. It's just really bad. It's just so much more poverty stricken than the larger ones up north. But the only saving grace for New Orleans' ghetto is that it isn't huge. It doesn't go on for miles and miles and miles. But pound per pound, it is the worst. It really does
That looks pretty bad though. Like horribly bad.
feel like you're in a third world country.
Wow.
It's just, and it's a lot poorer than Chicago or Detroit. But again, the overall ghetto size isn't anywhere near as big. So those are the three worst urban ghettos in the country. Detroit's the largest, Chicago's the most dangerous, and New Orleans is the poorest. And these are
Damn,
often associated with
that's
high
bad.
crime and
That's
poverty.
really bad.
But urban ghettos are not as destitute as some other parts of the country. So urban areas aren't the only horrible parts of the U.S. Some of the rural parts of the country are where you have the most third world, the most poverty, and just the most destitution. So now I'm going to talk about the three worst rural parts of the country. The first of these rural areas I'm going to talk about is eastern Kentucky / southwestern West Virginia. And this is just a huge area of almost continuous poverty.
I mean, too bad because it's honestly such a. I mean, look at the background though. This is beautiful, and I've heard like some things about Appalachia. That's how you pronounce that. Appalachia. I have no idea, dude. But this part of the country seems like rather nice, you know. Such nice people, hardworking people. I guess you know it always comes back to jobs. I think like Detroit. I don't know if I'm wrong on this, but I think like as far as Detroit goes, like the lack of jobs, like all the automotive, like car plants went to other places or other countries. Sorry about that. A lot of them went to Mexico. But and I think the same thing with this region. If I'm not mistaken, like the coal miners, like they basically got out of job. So yeah, it kind of sucks, you know. Kind of like the cartoonish hillbilly dude comes from this region. I don't know.
Whereas an urban ghetto might constitute a few neighborhoods over several. You might not be able to pay the bill for the electricity, but the infrastructure.
Oh, look at him! Look at him, dude. That sucks, honestly. Like not having running water. Just pretty bad though. Like even for Mexican standards, I mean it happens. A lot of people don't have water and electricity here, but it's like bad. I mean, like yeah, if we look for something like this, um, okay, we have like Moctezuma Revenge. Okay, yeah, we're not getting the statistics. Okay, but like my point is that's pretty fucked up, especially for America and especially for this region where there's a lot of, again, like hardworking people. I don't know that
Was there. A lot of these places in the rural Appalachia region, the
Appalachia.
infrastructure isn't even there in the first place.
Oh my god, dude! Look at the beers. My man's getting busy right here, huh? Look at this. That's a lot of beer, my dude. That's honestly like that's how I wanna go down, dude. Just living in the forest, you know, small ass house. You have the kitchen outside, and you know, like just drinking beer. Look at that beer gut. You know, my dude's skinny right here, but he has that beer gut. Wow, dude. No, like you know, honestly, this is like pretty bad.
This area is so large that you might have to drive a half an hour just to get to a grocery store. And when you get there, it only has
Oh my
frozen,
God.
boxed, and canned stuff.
Holy
You might have to
shit,
drive more
dude.
than an hour just to get to
What
a.
the fuck? Like, do people actually live here? Like, this house is like flipped over, dude. Like, this house is breaking down. Like, this has to be like some sort of. Well, I don't know. It looks bad. Holy shit! I mean, I'm Mexican. I wouldn't want to live here. Like, not at all.
Decent hospital. This area is a huge food desert. It's a huge healthcare desert. Healthcare problems are really bad. Obesity is really bad. Then, and almost like I said, third world-ish because it's just extreme poverty. It's a large region. And you also have a huge issue with drugs. You have a lot of people that are hooked on painkillers and crystal meth, and it's really sad. I've walked around some of these small towns in southwestern West Virginia, like a town called Logan, and you just see so many people whose eyes are glazed and they're kind of shuffling their feet and they look like zombies.
Oh man, my first instinct, you know, is obviously heading to the stereotypes, But the truth is, I mean, it's sad. I mean, it's not really funny. It's sad. I mean, it's not their fault that they were born in West Virginia, dude. They look like nice people, dude. Look how happy she looks. I mean, what's wrong with her teeth, dude? Like, she looks like she ate some sort of coal shit. Anyways, I'm not gonna make fun of them.
It's just so sad that how many people are just hooked into this cycle of poverty and drugs, and it doesn't really seem to be getting any better. In fact, it seems to be getting a little bit worse. The second awful rural area that takes up a large swath is the Mississippi River area of northwestern Mississippi and southeastern Arkansas.
Mississippi,
this is just,
my good
again,
old
just true
friend.
poverty through a large area, and it's also kind of third worldish. You have a lot of areas where there's no electricity or running water, and you see people living in these conditions. You can't believe this is the U.S., but it is. And this area has been poor forever, going back to the days of slavery and sharecropping, and just this area hasn't really ever improved. And this is where the blues music came from. I mean, you can see why it came from this area. So much of our music is because of how bad this area is. People had the blues, singing about it, and it just moved into rock and roll and all that kind of stuff. So I guess you can say there's one good thing about
That is bad, you know. You know it's bad when people are so fucking miserable that they have to go to music in order to be like less miserable. I mean, it's pretty sad. I mean, look at this house, dude. Like, this is pretty fucking bad. Like, again, even for Mexican standards, dude. Like, you have a lot of people living better than this. Wow. It's just crazy. I heard about the Mississippi Delta, especially more of a historic condition, you know, like Appalachia or whatever you call it. Like, that place, I guess it's like newly poor. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, because like all the coal mine jobs went out. But like this area, especially like, you know, the Appalachia is majority white, I want to say. This one's majority black, and I guess you could trace all these problems back to slavery and the whole thing. I mean, not to mention that one is better and one is worse. I mean, they both suck. You know, like Appalachia and the Mississippi Delta, they all look terrible. But I guess that like they have like the same problem, but for different reasons.
about the poverty in this area, but it is still very destitute. It's very similar to the Appalachian area, but the geography is different. It's flat, really hot and humid, as opposed to mountainous and stuff. But it is pretty much the same kind of thing. Just a large area of just extreme poverty. And the last of the three rural areas I'm going to mention is by far the worst one. And this is the Pine Ridge Reservation of the Lakota Sioux in southwestern South Dakota. The level of poverty on the reservation is astonishing. It's almost unbelievable. I've driven through it a couple of times on my trips.
I didn't knew this at all. I mean, I had an idea of the Mississippi Delta, and I knew also of like West Virginia, but I didn't knew about this. Like Native Americans in South Dakota, I had no idea.
The Badlands National Park and some of the other areas in southwestern South Dakota, and you just can't believe you're in the U.S. when you see some of this stuff. You see people living in burned out buses, old RVs.
Oh my God, dude. That is like, I know I said like the past few places were bad, like Mexico. This is like hardcore. Like, if you do this in Mexico, like, you're hardcore in poverty. Like, even the people in the rural towns, they have like a cement house, you know. Well, some of them, of course, not all, but this is insane. This is fucking wild, and I don't know, like as far as I'm concerned, the reservations have a lot of like independence or like some sort of like independence-ish laws. So I don't know, maybe like the government, that's why, because they don't get so many help. I have no idea, dude. I can't even do English properly right now. I'm just like fucking amazed. I mean, amazed in a bad way. Like, wow. In the U.S., of like this shit doesn't happen in Germany, you know, or like Spain. Well, I guess sometimes happens in Spain. Wow, fucking wild.
I mean, it's crazy that people live in these kind of conditions. And again, it's kind of embarrassing that this is the U.S. and these are the indigenous population, and they're living in some of these horrible conditions. But as bad as a native population has been treated through the years, this is the absolute worst reservation in the country. The poverty is astonishing. And kind of like you have the painkiller problem in the Appalachia region, you have an alcoholism problem on the reservation. And of course, people make the jokes about the drunk Indian kind of stuff, but it really is sad. I mean, you see people just...
there's a lot of stereotypes around drugs, isn't it? I mean, the drunk Native American, or the white guy on crack, or like the black dude with like the marijuana. No, sorry, like the white guys, what they do, like cocaine, crack. I don't know, meth. Maybe it's meth. Like the stereotypical, and black dude with weed, and like Hispanics. I don't know, dude. Like everything. But yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's not funny.
Staggering around, people just passed out in front of a building. And you drive through some of these towns, and it's like, is this a movie set? Is this really what this place is like? And it isn't all entirely like that, but most of it is. And
Wow.
the better parts of the reservation would still be extremely poor for most of the country. And the last two that I'm going to mention are on this list because of how strange they are. I don't mean strange in a good way, like Santa Cruz, California, Burlington, Vermont, or Key West, Florida. I mean strange in a bad way. The first are the twin cities of Hildale, Utah, and Colorado City, Arizona. This is basically one town that straddles the state line, and this is the area that's well known for being the home of the fundamentalist wing of the Mormon Church. The best word I can think of to describe these two towns is creepy, and I've been there a few times. The first time was about 15 years ago or so, before the
Mormons are weird, man. I mean, I don't want to say this in like an offensive way. I know a lot of Mormons who are like normal. I mean, they're all people, but like more normal. I just want to say that a lot of them have some really strange customs. A friend of mine was doing some sort of internship in Utah, and it was like, dude, like there are some of these places that are like sick, dude, but sick in a weird way. Like I mean, it's nice because it's unique, but it's also kind of like weirdly unique. I don't know, dude.
the cult leader Warren Jeffs was arrested. The second time was not long
I mean, when they are using the word cult, like something's wrong.
after he was arrested, and the third time was just a couple years ago. Several years after he was arrested. So I've gotten to see how much the town has changed.
Wait, are these all girls? Like, is this dude like? I want to think this is like their father, but they're all girls, dude. Like, what are the odds of this? Is this a boy? I don't think. I mean, they're all girls, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But like, what are the odds of like each one of your like 100 gazillion childs being girls? That's fucking mad, bro. That's fucking mad. Wow, and they all look like dressed the same. Wow, dude, this fucking world is insane. It's fucking insane.
Changed and how much it hasn't changed. It's hard to say for sure, but
By the way, there's like a Mennonite community in Mexico, like northern Mexico, and it's really fucking interesting to learn about like their customs. It's not. I don't want to like try to make fun of anyone. Like, they're just like different cultures. It's not about like who's better and who's worse. It's just different, but it seems so foreign to me. Like, I've been to the U.S. Like, I know what it's like, but some of these places, it just seems so foreign. I really want to.
I would estimate that about 75% of the population there are members of the FLDS church, and it's really easy to point them out because they all look the same, they all dress the same, and they all have the same hairstyle. And I'm not trying to be joking around here, but they're also kind of inbred. There's such a small number of people that are part of this church, and they're only getting with each other. The gene pool just isn't that large. So a lot of people just kind of have the same facial features, and they all look the same. So it's just.
I mean, they all kind of look the same, dude.
Really creepy. But for the longest time, it wasn't just creepy, it was also scary because the city was officially a fundamentalist city. The mayor, the city council, and most frighteningly, the police were all part of this cult. And there were many, many stories of people that were not members of the church being harassed by the police, arrested for no reason, evicted from their homes. And the worst story I ever heard was one where the police rounded up all the dogs of the non-FLDS members and killed them en masse. And if you're a non-FLDS member living there, who are you going to complain to? The police, the mayor? Obviously not. They're the problem. And the state of Utah has always said we don't condone these polygamy cults, but they've also always looked the other way because this, of course, was known to be going on for
I mean, please, someone explain to me what the hell is going on. What is this? Like, is this like a parent? Or like, I mean, he just mentioned polygamy, and I know these two like look very young. like youngish, but I don't know, dude. It's just like, isn't polygamy illegal? Like, I don't know, dude. I think incest is one who's illegal.
For the longest time in these cities, but the state did absolutely nothing about it. And it wasn't until some young girls came out and said that Warren Jeffs raped them that the state finally had to do something about it. So he was arrested, tried, and convicted, and he's now currently in prison. But things didn't stop. He was still running the cult, still running the town from prison. I think his brother was acting as the liaison for him, and things didn't change at all for several years, even after he was arrested. In the past few years, the police have been broken up. There's a new mayor, there are real elections. But the last time I was there, it still had that kind of creepy feel to it. So I'm sure it's gotten better, but it still didn't seem quite right. And a lot of the folks from the FLDS church have moved. They're starting to go to other places, trying to take over other towns. But,
Take over, dude.
I think things have probably certainly improved for the non-FLDS members of that town, but it is still really creepy there. And I know I said at the beginning that this isn't trying to be a funny video, but this last one is kind of funny just because of how ridiculous it is. And that's Bombay Beach, California. It is a beach, but it isn't along the ocean. It's along the Salton Sea in the southeastern corner of the state, out in the middle of the desert. It's below sea level. It's the lowest community in the U.S., and it's just...
So it's not a beach, it's more of a lake, right? I mean, this does look pretty, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Truly, truly awful, but also really, really strange. The Salton Sea isn't supposed to exist. It's there because of a levee that broke and the water just kept running down and just formed this lake. So when it first happened, it was like, oh, great, there's this oasis in the desert. We're going to form these beach resort towns, and Bombay Beach was one of them. So at one point, it was kind of a place to go, go to the beach, hang out, get a burger, get a few beers, but it is nothing like that anymore. But as the resort aspect of it went away, the water was getting more and more polluted.
I mean, all of these photos, dude, look pretty bad. It looks just like abandoned.
People weren't going there anymore,
bro?
so people were moving.
What's the name of the city? Bombay Beach. What? Bombay Beach, California. Right, so it's in Imperial County, southernmost point. Population, only 295 people live here. Bro, that's hilarious. What are the demographics, dude? I bet you this is like 70% Hispanic. 2010. Hispanic or Latino of any race, 20%, 59. 13% African American, 3% Native American. There's like one Asian dude. And like the rest of them are white. 76%. Well, what? Flying fish. There's a flying fish, dude, made out of trash. What the hell? Nothing. The only other thing is nothing. The only other thing is nothing. Oh, wow. Shit, dude. So it's like, yeah, I understand now. Like, I get it. I get why this place is weird. Park Place price $350. What? Wow, there's an airplane and everything. Wow, this is actually pretty fucking creepy, dude.
Out of the town, so it kind of has a ghost town feel through a lot of it. There's empty shells of buildings. There's just random cars here and there. There's furniture and appliances all over the place. There are pianos, just stuff that when people left, they didn't take with them. A lot of the folks that remained took some of those old buildings, just kind of made like weird artistic stuff out of it. Like,
oh, right. We were just watching
into
that.
Like shapes and things, and just it's just so weird. And there's like a little stage out there where they'll do live plays, and there's like a drive-in where a bunch of old cars are facing a movie screen. It is just an incredibly weird place. So if you're driving through this part of the country, check this place out because it's just so absurd. There's nowhere else like it in the country. And it's almost like the people that live there revel in the absurdity. They love it. This isn't the same as these poverty-stricken areas in other parts of the country.
Dude,
I mean, these are not rich people, but they want to be there. These are just really weird people on the fringe of society.
Amen.
And if you're on the fringe of society, there can't
let's just all move to Bombay Beach, man, and like make this place better.
be many better places to go than Bombay Beach. But what about the beach itself? Is it nice? No, it is like the most awful beach you'll ever go to. It looks nice and white. You walk out there and It's not sand. It's all dead
Okay,
fish,
yeah, I get it.
scales, fish bones. It's horrible. The water is
Damn,
so
dude.
polluted that it can't even sustain any life. So these fish just wash up, and you can imagine how that smells. And as awful as it smells, there is someone that's going to love it.
Fuck, man.
Your dog. I was there with my dog, and he was having a time of his life. His nose was up in the air. He was like, wow, these are the greatest smells ever. He loved it. But no matter how much your dog will love it, you will hate the smell. It is putrid. So those are the 8 worst places in the country. And this isn't really even an opinion. You can live.
Damn, dude, damn. What the hell, bro? I mean, some parts of America are just like, dude, creepy, crazy. Gosh, I love America, man. Dude, you guys are so fucking awesome. The world would be nothing without you. Gosh, damn, dude. This was a good video. This was a great video, man. I had such a good time.